These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. When it comes to online college, Southern New Hampshire University is so good, it's scary. Listen, the facts don't lie. SNHU has degree programs that fit your goals, online classes that fit your life, and real support at every step. And if that wasn't enough, they've got some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. This is an airtight case, you guys. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to get started. That's snhu.edu/morbid. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Elena.
And this is Morbid in the Morning.
We haven't done one of these in a little while.
I know. I had a merch idea this morning.
Whoa.
Actually, when I was driving here, I was like, oh, I get to say that it's Morbid in the Morning. We should just do like a shirt that says like Morbid in the Morning, like maybe like embroidered on like the shirt with like a little coffee cup.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
bitch.
how I pictured it too.
Yes.
I love that.
Yay.
We'll do that.
We'll do that someday, yeah.
We'll
Someday.
do that. I love that idea.
Thank you.
I had a strange dream last night, and I don't remember the dream itself. This is going to sound so random, but I remember in the dream someone was using PEMDAS to solve an equation.
Oh my God, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, subtraction?
Addition, subtraction.
Addition, subtraction.
Yes. And
Crazy.
I woke up and I said, what is the E in PEMDAS? That was the first thought I had this morning.
That's
I rolled
great.
over and I looked at John and I said, do you remember what the E is in PEMDAS? And he was like, you just opened your eyes. Like, what do you mean?
And
I was like,
how dare you assault me?
He
like
literally
that?
was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, PEMDAS. You know how you like
Did he
solve
learn
big.
that?
Oh, yeah. But it was literally, he had just opened his eyes and he was like, I remember what PEMDAS is. And I was like, exponent. And he was like, what is happening? Like, he was like, we're not even out of bed yet.
To the power of, baby.
But I was like, exponent, I remember it now. And then I got really happy that I remembered it. And then I was like, that was the weirdest set of events to
One
wake
thing
up with.
I was really good at in school was math, weirdly.
Yeah, I was not great at math.
I fucked heavy with PEMDAS.
I'm struggling. I'm trying to help the girls with their math.
Well, that's not
stuff.
our math.
But even like the basic shit, like they started learning fractions. And I was like, oh. Fuck me right up.
I'm pretty
I wasn't great
right
at
with
fractions.
It's not my favorite.
I'm figuring it out.
Honestly, I just think of baking.
Well, that's honestly, I think baking has helped me because I'll like just be
But the problem is when you're baking, I have like a Google Home thing. So I'll just be like, hey, Google, what's like, how do I make like blah, blah, blah out of blah, blah, blah. So you don't exercise that part of your brain anymore.
See, and they're doing like full on, like,
Right.
But, we're getting there. We're learning math.
There you go.
And I have something to tell you guys. That's just like a fun little thing. We're not being paid by this company. I just really like this thing.
See, I do too.
They can be a sponsor if they want to, but
Please.
like they're not.
I mean, we're both very passionate.
So I found this in case I feel like a lot of people could use this right now, just with the state of the world. It's this app that's like described as a self-care Tamagotchi.
Which it literally is.
Which immediately drew me into it. I said yes. And it's called Finch. Finch.
It's
like the
so
bird.
cute.
And you literally take care of this little bird by doing things for yourself. And like and it's a very good app. Like it's really good. I've been using it for 2 full weeks now.
Same.
And it's like actually helping me be more mindful. So basically you just kind of like list out things that you would like to accomplish for the day. They literally give you a list to begin with, and one of those things is get out of bed. So it's like you don't have to shoot for the stars. Like and you can check that off. I got out of bed, and it gives you like a yay, you did it. And so like I have like, drinking a certain amount of water and making sure I do that. Like read for 10 minutes, write for 20 minutes, like make sure I have all these little like, and you can say like, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Wash
Some of
your
mine are
face.
like home cooked meal. Like eat dinner at home.
Some of them are like I have put one item away that is not in its place because like with kids things just get wild and and so doing that is like something that can start you on like
a chain
organizing
reaction.
somewhere. One of them is smile at yourself in the mirror.
I love that.
Which actually really it sounds weird.
That's
and
really
it sounds
cute,
crazy,
though.
but it can bring you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And not just like smile at yourself in the thing.
Definitely not. Won't
like,
do anything.
Look at yourself and genuinely smile at yourself in the mirror, and it will give you a little boost of like
Chip Skylark in the mirror, babe.
There you go. Like do it.
Yeah. Your shiny teeth and you.
It's true. I have turn off notifications for an hour.
Oh, I love that.
Which is great.
I don't need to have that as a goal. I just do that.
Yeah, I usually do that, but I literally like phone upstairs. Don't even.
Oh,
yeah.
Do not disturb is my shit, especially on the weekends. If you can't get in touch with me, I'm on do not disturb.
I have take a short walk without distractions.
No, I have my hour walk every day on mine.
And you check them off. And it gives your little bird energy, and your little bird goes on adventures every day and then tells you about it at the end of the day.
They discover something new.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's a cute little thing. It might help you just like check off some little things that you would like to make habits out of, or try to just, make yourself feel good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I feel like it's good for like kids too. Like, like if you're like 13-year-old or whatever, however old your kid is that has a phone, it's like a good app to like teach them, like do things for yourself. Self-care, exactly.
And turning like healthy things into routines.
Yeah,
like I have literally like work out for 15 minutes on there.
That's
because it's literally like just move for 15 minutes. So I highly recommend it. And again, we're not being sponsored by that. This is just one of those recommendation moments that I think would benefit a lot of people. So.
Yeah, no, Elena told me about it and I've used it every day since.
Oh, and there's also a little thing. This made me happy.
Yeah, there's like even more stuff than just
there's
the goals.
There's a lot of things that you can do on here. So I recommend you download it and kind of explore it a little bit.
Go check it out.
Because there's something called like they have like breathing techniques.
Those are nice.
They have movements, like they'll give you little things to get yourself moving for 10 minutes or something. They have soundscapes. You can write down reflections and journal entries and thoughts. And they have a first aid kit, which is if you're feeling very anxious or if something happened that upset you or put you in some type of way.
Like you're panicky.
Yeah, like it can help you just like get through it. Yeah. Like there's a rant zone, there's grounding exercises.
Oh, I did the rant zone the other day.
Yeah, there's like, what would you say to a loved one? And it's directing compassion inwards towards yourself.
It's really beautiful.
I can be mean to me. So it was very helpful. Because sometimes, people can trigger you.
Yeah. And sometimes you're your own worst critic anyway.
Yeah. And it helps you like not take in all the yuckiness on the outside.
Yeah. And if it helps you like work through it if some leaks through.
Yeah. So hey, Finch, if you want to sponsor us.
Finch, we're kind of
We
obsessed
just gave
with
you.
you.
A pretty good advertisement.
And we forgot to tell you the best part. You get to name your little bird.
Oh yes, mine's name is Gatsby.
And mine is Big Ann. Thank you.
So guys, download it. I just highly recommend it if you're looking for something
Yes.
to help yourself there. And it's been helpful to me. I like it. It's very cute.
It's great.
And it's made me more mindful
Yeah.
of things, like certain things. Because I'll look and I'll be like, you haven't read for 10 minutes.
gotta
Like,
read.
when can you schedule that in?
I should put that on mine because I've been not keeping up with my reading lately.
Yeah, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, I love that.
So Finch, everybody.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Finch.
little recommendation for the day.
All right. Well, moving on into the case of the day.
The case of the day.
I have an unsolved case today, which really infuriates me because there's kind of no reason that this should be unsolved.
Yeah.
So this is the unsolved murder of Kristin O'Connell. So let's get into it. Kristin Marie O'Connell was born January 12th, 1965. She was one of two kids born to Michael and Phyllis O'Connell, who raised her and her brother Kyle in Burnsville, Minnesota. According to Michael O'Connell, his daughter was a really fun, really easygoing, outgoing child, but he said she also had a very serious side. He said she was somewhat religious and had put a lot of thought into becoming a nun, actually.
Oh, wow.
And you can find like some evidence of Kristin's faith throughout her early life. When her grandmother, who she was really, really close with, died in 1975, 10-year-old Kristin turned to her faith to help her kind of cope with this loss. In a letter written after her grandmother's death, she wrote, "Death is a subject pushed aside, never talked about. I think it should be talked about. It's a part of life. Some people die fast, others die young, some old. It all depends when God wants us with him."
Wow.
Which is like pretty fucking profound for a 10-year-old.
It is. And if that, like, it sounds like it was like a comfort.
Yeah, exactly. Now, while Kristin would always take her faith pretty seriously, she was also, in most respects, a pretty typical Midwestern girl and a very ideal daughter for her parents. Her mother, Phyllis, told a reporter in 2023, "We had a great relationship, and she was the one all the boys wanted to marry." Which I just think is so sweet. Like a lot of girls her age, and where she was from, she had a deep love of horses, and she worked part-time at a stable near Burnsville, and she boarded her own horse there.
Okay.
She also was remembered as being a very kind, very open person. She trusted people without reservation. Her Aunt Barb said she was the type of person that wanted to sit and chat about anything and everything going on with her life.
She sounds just cool.
Yeah,
man.
she just sounds like a good person, like
She
someone
was
you would,
beautiful too.
she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And just someone you'd want to be friends with, you know?
Yeah, she just seems like a cool chick.
Yeah. So after graduating from high school, Kristin was accepted to the University of Wisconsin-Stout, where she majored in hotel and restaurant management.
Oh.
Which I feel like that'd be like a pretty fucking fun career.
And also, that's really smart
Really smart.
because that's not like you're really setting yourself up for like a career.
Yeah, and also you have to be like so organized.
Yes.
You have to be a level of organization that I don't even think I could ever acquire.
Yeah, I can't even comprehend it. And you also have to be a real people person.
Yes.
Like really good with people and
Yes.
have a good demeanor, which it sounds like she was kind of perfect for that.
Definitely. She sounds like she was like very bubbly,
Yeah.
you know? But in the spring of her sophomore year, she took a vacation to, I think it's Captiva Island, near Fort Myers, Florida. And she was just celebrating spring break with some of her friends. Very typical.
Yeah.
While she was there, she met 18-year-old James Vermeers Jr., who was working on the island as a waiter at the time. He had recently graduated high school, where he'd grown up in Ovid, New York, and he was planning to go back home to Ovid in a few months. So Kristin and James headed off immediately. And actually, even after Kristin went home to Minnesota at the end of spring break, they were keeping in touch through letters and phone calls. Now, after months of this kind of like long distance relationship of sorts, they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but it seemed like it was like kind of heading down that road.
Yeah.
Kristin decided that she wanted to visit James in New York to get to know him better. Because, you
Okay.
know, they've been contacting each other through letters and phone. She's like, let's spend some time together.
They're rank like going up the steps of the relationship ladder.
Yeah, exactly. Also, remember when people wrote letters?
I know.
Crazy.
That's like it's so cute.
It is. It
I
is
like
really
it. It's
cute.
pen palish.
I know. So since she wanted to get to know him better, she planned a visit for mid-August, just a few weeks before she was going to go back to Wisconsin Stout for her junior year. Initially, Kristin's mom, Phyllis, was kind of apprehensive about her daughter visiting a boy that she didn't really know too well, several states away and unaccompanied.
I get it.
In fact, according to Kristin's brother Kyle, his parents actually were arguing about it for a few days before Kristin actually did leave. The dad, Michael, eventually convinced his wife that, quote, it was time to let Kristin be a woman and make her own decisions. So Phyllis obviously eventually agreed to let her go, reasoning that Kristin had always been a really responsible girl. She'd always been very trustworthy. So there was really no reason not to let her go other than her own apprehension.
Yeah, of course. What an impossible position.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, she's an adult technically.
Well, you want to give her the independence and the freedom to make choices, and you can't tether them to you for the rest of their lives as much as we want to as parents.
Well, and I think as soon as your kids turn like 17, 18, 19, that's a really hard age.
Oh, I can't even fathom.
Because it's just like uncharted territory for you.
Your whole, up until then, you have been able to tether them to you pretty much.
And it's your role,
word.
like you have to, you know?
You get to make the rules, and it's like at that point you do feel, it's like, it must be this weird feeling of like, well, I have to kind of give them a little freedom, but I don't want to at the same time. Like, I want to just keep them here.
And it's like a loss of control, and control is not always a bad thing, you know?
It's true.
But she was so excited when she left that day. She came in, kissed me, and said, Mom, don't worry. Everything's fine. It'll be fine. So with her parents' consent now, Kristin traveled from Minnesota to Boston, where a family friend picked her up, and then drove her to Syracuse, New York, where James Vermeers and one of his friends picked her up.
Okay.
So Kristin arrived in New York on the night of Monday, August 12th, and her plan was to stay until that Friday. So not a super long time.
Yeah.
She was really, really excited about this trip, super excited to see James, like I said, get to know him better.
Yeah.
But her enthusiasm started to wane almost as soon as she arrived in New York. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think, or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Initially, James told Kristin that she was going to stay at his parents' house where he also lived. So like very normal situation there. But when she arrived in Ovid, he told her that the plans had changed unexpectedly and that instead they were going to be staying in a trailer on his parents' property.
Nah.
So that would like freak me out a little bit. And I think she definitely,
sounds like she was a little put off by it.
Yeah, I feel like that would make your like flight or fight senses kind of kick in a bit, you know?
Yeah.
So she was like, okay, like sounds good. And she told her mom. And the change of plans was concerning for Phyllis, who believed her daughter would be staying in a home with adults present.
Yeah.
But she was like, you're already there. And I already told you could go. I trust you. And, you know, you're still on their property, so you'll be safe.
And again, hard position.
And again, not a lot she can do. Her daughter's technically an adult.
Exactly.
So it's unclear how the two spent their day on Tuesday, but by the next day, Kristin reportedly went swimming with James and his friends, and then the group went to a local bar/restaurant where they shot a game of pool. On the way back to the trailer, James stopped at a store to buy some sandwiches, get some beers, and then the group of 8 went back to James's trailer to hang out. And it was that afternoon that Kristin received a second piece of unwanted and unexpected news. For several months, she and James had been corresponding, like I said, with, phone calls and letters. And, he had even invited her to come visit him, giving the impression that he had some kind of romantic interest in her, obviously. But according to Michael O'Connell, Kristin's dad, while James was talking with Kristin, he also had been dating a girl in New York.
Oh, so he's an asshole.
Yeah. And he, quote, planned to tell Kristin about it when she arrived in Ovid.
So you invited this girl to another state so you could tell her that you're dating someone else?
It's like, why are you allowing her to come to, there's obviously nothing's going to happen between the two of you, or that's how you're making it seem.
That's a dick move.
And nothing should happen because you have a girlfriend. And obviously Kristin's a very respectable girl, so she's like, fuck you, nothing is going to happen. But you let her get all the way out there?
No, that makes literally no sense. That you have her travel to another state so you can tell her that you have a girlfriend.
And she went from Minnesota to Boston and then from Boston to New York. This was
and bitch, you could have told her in a letter.
Yeah.
What's wrong
with
you?
Or a phone call.
Yeah,
this was so much effort put into this trip for you to just kind of
that feels
crush her there.
Yeah, that feels like an exercise in humiliation. Is what it feels like, and I'm angry.
It does. It's just shitty.
Yeah.
So it appears that James did finally tell Kristin about his straight-up girlfriend at some point on the afternoon or the evening of Tuesday, August 14th, after they got back to the trailer.
Also, how'd your girlfriend feel about that you invited a girl 2 states, states away to come see you?
Who you've been corresponding
with? I'm sorry, that's weird as fuck.
It is weird. And also, were you telling your girlfriend? Are your friends going to say something to her? What is going on here? It's a very strange situation.
Very strange.
So upon learning about James's relationship, Kristin called her mom in Minnesota and told her the trip really wasn't going as well as she hoped it would, and she was going to cut it short and actually come home the next day.
Oh, I just want her. Everything in my soul is I just want you to come home.
Yeah, same. So according to Phyllis, Kristin, quote, sounded upset but wouldn't say if anything was wrong. Oh. She was just she was upset and she wanted to come home early.
Phyllis was probably wanting to just reach over and grab her.
And it sounds it could have been very much she's having a hard time because she's an adult and she can't stop her from going. But you wonder if she had some kind of maternal instinct there.
She probably did.
And then everybody else made her second guess it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or, and she, she might have just second guessed it on her own.
Yeah, because you're taught to be let them do what they want. And it's no, sometimes in this world, you can't just...
Yeah.
You have to trust
sometimes
her. You know what I mean? But
knows.
The world just tells people like this, oh, you're just being crazy. You're just being
overprotective.
You're being overprotective. And it's no, she's...
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
So the group continued hanging out until late into the evening. Remember, they're all hanging out at James's trailer. And around 11 p.m., James said he was going to go pick up a pizza, and he left. And Kristin announced to the rest of the group that she was going to go out for a walk, shortly after he left. According to 17-year-old David Chamberlain, who was at the trailer that night, neither Kristin nor James seemed upset. There was no fights or arguments that broke out at the party. He said she just went out for a walk and didn't come back. When she left, nobody figured anything was wrong. So back home in Burnsville, Kristin actually often took late night walks by herself. Her and her family lived on a subdivision, so it was a little safer to go for a late night walk. So she most likely didn't think twice about going for a walk to clear her head out here. But when Kristin still hadn't returned after 2 hours, the group at the party started to get concerned. So they set out on foot to look around the area for her. And when she still hadn't been found by the following afternoon, James called the state police to report her missing.
I'm sorry, what?
So she goes out for a walk at around a little after 11 p.m. She doesn't return by 1 a.m. They go out and look for her and they don't find her. And then presumably everybody just goes to sleep and wakes up the next afternoon and then calls the police. That's weird.
That is weird.
I'm weird.
Sorry.
I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. That's just weird.
Objectively, that's fucking weird.
Yeah. Like if I'm at a party and it's not even like my friend, it's just like somebody at the party and I hear that they're missing and we go look for them and don't find them, when we don't find them, that's when we call the police.
Yeah, we say, okay, we got to call the cops now because something's awry.
And there was plenty of people there that like at least one of them should have been like, hey, I think we should call the police, and followed through with that decision.
For sure.
Weird.
Yeah.
So after receiving the very late report that Kristin O'Connell had gone missing, a search team of about 90 police officers and firefighters from 4 towns set out from the Vermeer's house to look for Kristin. About 90 minutes later, the team found Kristin's body. She was not alive. They found her body about 300 yards into a cornfield along Route 139, which is a rural road about a quarter mile from the trailer where she'd last been seen. Ovid Fire Chief Robert Favreau said, I know that's what you go on searches to find, but this is an awful way to end it. Usually when you go out on these things, you find out the person you're looking for is hundreds of miles away, but you never know till you find it.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. When she was discovered, Kristin was fully nude. Her throat had been slashed, and she had also been stabbed several times in the chest.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The scene had the hallmarks of a sexual assault, but it would quickly be determined that she had not been raped.
Oh, wow.
Major Richard Tonzi told reporters, the apparent intentions may have been a sexual attack, but it may not have taken place, eventually ending instead with murder. A few days later, the medical examiner would label Kristin's death obviously a murder, a homicide, and there was evidence that she had, quote, put up a tremendous fight for her life. And it was also determined that at that time she had no drugs and no alcohol in her system. So she was fully sober. Yeah. A cursory search of the scene didn't really turn up as much as far as evidence, and there was no sign of a murder weapon anywhere in the area. Investigators took soil samples, blood samples, and what little physical evidence they could find and sent it to a state lab in Binghamton for testing. In the meantime, the press and public became very concerned that there was now a killer amongst them.
Yeah.
A few months earlier in May, convicted murderers Hugh Cullum and Bernard Welch had escaped from a Chicago correctional facility and were believed to have fled to the Northeast. So that was very concerning for people. They were like, oh shit, did these two have something to do with it? Welch was arrested in Philadelphia in early August, but at the time of Kristin's murder, Cullum was still on the loose. And Tonzi told reporters, we've got an idea that the murderer could have been in the area and we've got a murder. But he clearly stated that Cullum was not a suspect, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
A few months later, they actually did arrest Cullum after he robbed a bank in Mississippi. So he was definitively ruled out as a suspect at that point. So after Kristin's body was removed from the field and all the evidence was gathered, Tonzi and the other state police investigators started interviewing witnesses and just conducting like door-to-door canvasses, basically. Everybody at the party was quickly ruled out as a suspect. Tonzi told reporters, everybody at that party came from well-to-do families in this community. Oh. They are respected in this area.
Okay. Good to know.
While being from a wealthy family is hardly evidence of innocence, because as we know, wealthy people kill people too. And people from wealthy families kill people too. Quite frequently, actually. The group had been together all evening, and with the exception of James going out for pizza shortly before Kristin left on the walk, none of them had left the trailer other than to go look for her.
Okay.
And the medical examiner did place the time of death somewhere between midnight and 1:30 a.m., and that was after James had already gotten back to the party.
Okay.
So
there's that.
Yeah, and this time of death was also supported by what neighbors described as a quote-unquote horrific scream heard in the direction of the cornfield between 12:15 and 12:30 a.m. Now, here's my
call the police.
It doesn't sound like it.
Call the police when you hear a blood-curdling scream in a cornfield, okay?
Well,
just do that for me.
If neighbors of this family heard the scream,
why didn't the group
in the trailer?
Valid.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's a valid question.
Did they hear the scream and then that's when they went out looking? But also, she was found not too far from the property.
Yeah.
And they all went out looking for her for hours. It's just weird.
It's just all got ruled out. Very interesting.
They got ruled out as suspects, but
there's just still some like lingering questions.
Yeah, and it also happened quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, even though they had been ruled out as suspects in her murder, it remains unclear why Kristin left the party near midnight to go for a walk in an area very unfamiliar to her.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like we're not pointing fingers at anyone. It's just like there's some unanswered questions that it doesn't seem like had enough attention.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be missing pieces to a puzzle that may not include them being part of it.
Yeah.
It's just like, why weren't all the pieces put together?
Yeah. And also just like, in retrospect, don't let somebody go for a walk alone when they're not familiar with this area.
Yeah, I'm not understanding.
It's just sad that she didn't have a friend here.
Yeah,
like,
that makes me sad.
And the one person who was supposed to be her friend had like kind of turned this trip into shitty.
Yeah.
Very shitty for her. Oh. But State Police investigator Jeffrey Arnold said in 2009, she did not do drugs and was not a drinker. She may have been uncomfortable at the party because alcohol was involved and decided to take a walk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Others suggested that, Kristin was probably upset that James had just told her about his girlfriend and she maybe wanted to go clear her head. And then other people say, maybe she just wanted to get some air. She didn't plan to be gone long. And also, she was barefoot when she left the party, which suggests that she didn't plan to be gone for very long.
Yeah, if she was barefoot, she was not planning on being gone long. No. That was a quick little
stroll.
Walk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Very interesting.
So whatever her reason for leaving the party, investigators soon learned that Kristin might not have been alone for the duration of her walk. Despite being a rural route, Route 139 was commonly used by locals as a shortcut across town, and it also tended to be busy with traffic going to the Seneca Army Depot and the Golden Buck, which is a popular restaurant and bar in Ovid. Mm-hmm. Sergeant Thomas Warren said, "A couple of passing motorists have told us they saw people in 2 cars talking to Kristin along the road at about 11:45 p.m. Other witnesses reported seeing a late 70s green or blue sedan on Route 139 right around the time of the murder, with 1 or possibly 2 male occupants. And some of the witnesses told police they believed the occupants may have been trying to lure Kristin into the car."
Oh, no. I mean, that's scary.
It's
that she's just
terrifying.
Walking by herself in the dark.
Yeah.
Barefoot.
Yup.
Like, that's
in an unknown area.
Yeah.
Several witnesses reported seeing the car with 2 men inside, but others told investigators they saw, quote, 2 young white males walking behind O'Connell shortly before police believe she was killed.
Oh, that's so scary.
So there might have been 2 people in that car, and then later people said they saw 2 people walking behind her.
Oh, that's really scary.
Yeah. The 2 individuals were described as being young, slender, with shoulder-length hair, wearing blue jeans, and one was wearing a jean jacket. One was described as being around 6 feet tall, so very tall, and the other was shorter than that person.
And you have to remember, like, again, like the stuff at the party is very, like, strange, and some of it is questionable. But you look at this and you say, look at the Alison Botha story.
Yep.
And it's like these, 2 people might have
Things
just
can happen
decided
at random.
that tonight they were going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I've learned nothing from that, I've learned that, they can just decide to.
Yeah, and we know, I mean, serial killers pick victims at random, and when, I don't want to say like opportunity strikes.
No,
but
it's
like,
true. They're opportunistic.
They are opportunistic.
When they see an opportunity that they feel like they can get the upper hand in, they will take that opportunity. So it does.
And this was very much, unfortunately, a situation where 2 males would absolutely have the upper hand over a young girl who's smaller than them, barefoot, and doesn't know her way around here.
In the dark.
And who knows, they may have stopped her, struck up a conversation, found out that she wasn't from around here, and that makes it 10 times more, opportunistic.
Her mother also said that she was very trusting and liked to chat with people.
Yeah,
and
disarming.
She was very disarmed and very would kind of let stuff out like that because she believed the best in people.
And she may have even, said something about the fact that this wasn't a great night. It wasn't going well.
Yeah, like I'm going home.
Blah, like she's at a party where she doesn't know a lot of people.
Yeah, like
who knows what was said.
Who knows? That's the thing. So it's like we can look at the party goers and the party situation as like, there's some unanswered questions there, but like this is also a very distinct possibility that somebody did take that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Which is so sad.
That's also the unfortunate part of this case is there's just so many variables at play.
Yeah.
That it's
hard to pin it all together.
Right. And these 2 people are still unknown. So it's like, oh God. Yeah. The investigation was tough. But based on the information learned from witnesses, investigators did start putting together a theory of what could have happened. After leaving the party at James's trailer, Kristin walked about a quarter. This part of the show is brought to you by Anua, the Korean skincare brand known for scientific, gentle, yet effective formulations. The latest from Anua is the Retinol Collagen Gua Sha Cream, a firming cream with a gua sha-shaped tip built right in. Have you guys heard of gua sha? It's that viral massage tool that moves fluid and tension out of your face. Less puffiness, a snatched jawline, honey, more definition in your face. Retinol firms and reduces fine lines, and collagen keeps your skin plump and structured. This cream has both of those things, arguably the most optimal combo for that snatched, lifted look all in one step. I am obsessed with the Gua Sha cream. First of all, it feels so cool to the touch. When you put that on your face, it's just like, this is lovely. It's like a little spa treatment that you can give yourself. I like to do mine at night after I get out of the shower. I rub the cream on my face with the little gua sha. I'm sculpting that jawline, honey. I got it on the cheekbones. And actually, I had a facial the other day, and the lady doing my facial, the professional, she said, "Do you use a gua sha at home?" And I said, "I do." And I said, "How did you know that?" And she said, "I didn't have those little like bumps in my chin or like different areas like that." So she could tell that I was using the gua sha. And I said, "Oh my God." I just feel like I wake up less puffy in the morning when I do it the night before. But you can do it whenever you want to. I, 10 out of 10, recommend this product. The Anua Gua Sha Cream value set is available at anua.com, already discounted. Use code MORBID for an extra 10% off. That's ANUA.com, code MORBID. You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. Mile down Route 139 when she was approached by those two men in the sedan who pulled over to talk to her. After that interaction, she was seen continuing her walk in a western direction around 12:10 a.m., but the next witness to see her around 12:15 a.m. reported her walking in the opposite direction, indicating that she was heading back to the party.
Okay.
Investigators theorize that the driver may have gone a short distance down the road, but turned around at an abandoned gas station and went back in Kristin's direction. Ooh. And they believe she either saw the car turn around or just sensed that something wasn't right. So then she turned around and started heading back to the party.
Okay.
So that makes you so sad because that makes you realize that like she was probably in fear at that moment.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And when she started turning in the direction of the party, they believe that the men in the car started pursuing her on foot at that point.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
It is really fucked up.
Really
in fact, one witness, like I said, reported seeing those two young men walking about 50 yards behind her around 12:15 a.m. Around 1:15 a.m., so an hour later, witnesses reported seeing two young men who matched earlier descriptions walking eastward away from the cornfield toward the center of town.
Oh, this sounds scary.
The two suspects were seen again 15 minutes later, this time walking in the opposite direction back toward the cornfield, and that was the last time either suspect was seen.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And the fact that there's like a cornfield involved in this just makes it even scarier.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this is, think of upstate New York.
Yeah.
And this is like,
I don't know why cornfields just free. I mean, I know why.
Yeah.
Popular culture has made me fear cornfields.
But I mean, yeah, it
just gives it like a way more chilling.
There's a lot of
whole thing.
There's a lot of opportunity for cover.
Concealment. Things.
Exactly. And Ovid, New York, just like so people know, is like super upstate New York.
Really
like,
rural.
It's not very far from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, damn.
Like yeah. Like I have family that lives in upstate New York and they don't even live as upstate as this. And that felt rural to me when I would visit.
And it's very like small town.
Super small town.
Yeah.
I mean, we're literally just talked about an abandoned gas station a second ago. You know, like that's the vibe here.
Yep.
So the initial flood of tips and witness statements was very useful, actually, this time in establishing a timeline and developing a theory as to what might have happened, but it did little to point investigators in the direction of a viable suspect. In fact, within a week of the murder, investigators had yet to find anybody who even remotely matched the suspects seen talking to Kristin before the murder. And of course, that contributed to the growing sense of fear in the community.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, there's two suspects here, but no, like, they're incognito. No, are they among us? Do they live here? Are they from here?
Who are these people?
Right. And it wasn't Kristin's death alone that made county residents uneasy, but the fact that Kristin's murder was the fourth unsolved murder in Seneca County in a little over a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Chief Ferdinand Ninkandri, I hope I said that right, told reporters, "I don't remember it ever happening here before in my 28 years as a police officer."
Wow.
And then suddenly they had 4 unsolved murders.
Damn.
Yeah. So homicides in that part of New York were very rare, actually, and the fact that there was no common link between the ones that had taken place was equally troubling because it suggested that these were random crimes.
Yeah.
And like we just said, crimes of opportunity. The growing fear in the community and the lack of progress in all of these unsolved cases prompted several community meetings and the formation of a neighborhood watch program. So at least people got together and were taking care of one another.
Yeah.
But after a frustrating week of little progress in the case, the state police finally did catch a break on August 23rd when an anonymous person called with an unexpected tip. The caller said, "I'm getting out of town because I told him not to do it. I told him not to do it. You look at behind the Chevy, the green Chevy on Main Street in Waterloo, and you'll find him. And if you open the trunk, you'll find what you want."
What the fuck?
Chilling.
What the fuck?
Chilling.
Yeah.
The officer who answered the call, Trooper D.C. Ryer, tried to keep the caller on the line by engaging him in conversation, but the voice on the other end just simply repeated himself, insisting they would, quote, "find what you need to solve the case if they looked in the trunk." And then he repeated his earlier insistence, saying, "I'm getting out of town because I told him not to do it. I told him not to do it. I'm heading out of town," before hanging up.
What the fuck?
Which does,
It
feels
like
this could be the two suspects and one
Yeah.
is like freaking the fuck out, or this could also just be a hoax. We know people do this shit.
we know people love to do that. So
And now it's, gotten kind of known community wide that they are looking for two suspects. So
Yeah.
who knows? But given that several witnesses had described seeing the dark colored sedan on Route 139 on the night of the murder, it seemed likely that the call was not some kind of hoax and that the voice on the other end did belong to one of the killers. The problem, however, was that while investigators knew about the unknown suspect's car, there was also countless dark sedans in this county,
Yeah.
and even narrowing it down to a green Chevy sedan was little help.
of course.
So with little to go on and no new evidence forthcoming, investigators turned to the public for help, and they placed an ad on the front page of the local newspaper. The ad said, "Our concerns are what have been seen either Wednesday or Thursday, August 14th or 15th, during the day or night." And the ad urged Seneca County residents to come forward if they'd seen, among other things, anyone hitchhiking or had picked up any hitchhikers, saw any strangers or suspicious individuals in the area, or if they, quote, saw any cars that aroused their curiosity.
Okay.
So aware that such an advertisement was unusual, state police investigator Thomas Warren was upfront with locals about the frustrating nature of this case. He said, "We're at the point where we need answers to those questions for the case to move forward. The fact that she was not from this area and had little contact with the people around here makes this a difficult case."
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
His comments might have been frustrating and probably sounded like defeatist to some, but he wasn't wrong about the difficulty of this case. Kristin,
unfortunately.
she'd only been in town for a couple of days and she had never been there before. And the only people she knew in this area were all in the same room at James's trailer on the night of the murder.
Damn.
That meant whoever had killed her was a stranger to her, and strangers are obviously among the more notoriously difficult types of murders to solve.
Yep.
Because there's no connections,
connection.
no social ties, nothing to trace victim to killer.
Yeah.
So equally problematic was the lack of evidence found at the scene. Like I said, there was no murder weapon, and there wasn't really any forensic evidence that could point them to a suspect. All they had at that point were some blood and soil samples, and they did have some skin cells discovered on Kristin's body,
Oh, okay.
but DNA testing was still several years in the future. We didn't have that yet.
Where's that DNA now?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there, and we'll get frustrated as a group.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So at this point in the investigation that I'm talking about now, those samples weren't likely to be of much use for a long, long time.
Yeah, of course.
So at the end of August, Major Richard Tonzi told reporters, "We've had between 220 and 230 leads of various types, and I've assigned several investigators to the case. But we have no one we term a suspect at this point."
That's awful.
That many leads and no
And
suspects.
nothing.
It's unclear whether local police were confident or even hopeful that they'd eventually find the killer, but what is evident from the statements made in late August and early September is that without any new information, the case was in danger of going cold.
Yeah.
In the few months after Kristin's murder, investigators struggled to make anything resembling progress, much to the disappointment of the public and to Kristin's family.
Yeah.
Fire Chief Robert Favreau said, "People are pretty upset about this murder. It's changed their lifestyle to being more security conscious." And he was among the handful of locals who worked to establish a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Kristin's killer, which they hoped would spur the investigation back into high gear, but it didn't do much. Ugh. He said maybe this reward will prompt someone who, for whatever reason, has not come forth with vital information to do so. But like I said, the reward would go unclaimed. Leads just kept drying up and the case got colder and colder. So now, desperate for information, investigators took to local television stations in upstate New York to urge residents to come forward if they knew anything that could lead to an arrest. They even went as far as filming a reenactment of the murder, which aired on Crime Stoppers.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Warren said,
time.
Yeah, different time. Warren said, "That got some calls, but nothing significant. There's been no breakthrough, and again, no weapon found yet." So within 6 weeks now of Kristin's murder, the story had slipped from the front pages of the papers, as we've heard so many times before, disappeared from locals' minds, the front of locals' minds at least. But an article in the Democrat and Chronicle reported in late September, it's been less than 6 weeks since Kristin O'Connell's nude body was found in a nearby cornfield, but Ovid people don't talk much about it anymore.
Wow.
It's sad.
That's wild.
Sad. And it just it really speaks to the state of the world at all times.
Yeah.
That in 6 weeks, you can
You're on to the
forget
next.
about a teenager being found in a cornfield, murdered in the nude.
Yeah.
Like
you're just on to the next thing.
That says a lot.
Always, society has always been that way.
Yeah.
Always been that way.
It's sad. But
it really is.
I think everybody gets swept up in it.
Well, and it's gotten much worse now.
Well, it's gotten
social media and the internet.
Because there's just always something new.
The attention span to these kind of things, it's blink and you miss it.
Yeah, it's so true. But the desire to move on for the murder was obviously deeply frustrating for those who were involved in the case heavily, like Robert Favreau. He said, "I can't understand how people could forget so quickly. To me, there are so many questions. Someone out there is a person who committed murder. Who is it? Why? Where are they?"
Yeah, and it was a brutal murder.
Brutal. Her throat was slashed and she'd been stabbed multiple times, and she was
nude,
stripped at some point, you know? But for many of the residents of Ovid and the surrounding towns, Kristin's murder aroused serious fears that they would much rather not have to confront. So I think that's why people just push that to the back of their mind.
A nice pattern of avoidance.
Yep. Local resident Bonnie Palmer told a reporter, "There's an awful lot of people here that are still scared. It's something that's very ugly and you want to forget it. So you put it in the back of your mind and you don't talk about it."
Yeah, it's human nature.
It is. So while the public had begun moving on from the murder, investigators with the New York State Police continued to follow up on every tip they received. In early 1986, Richard Tonzi and one of his fellow investigators actually got approval to travel out of state and re-interview some of the early witnesses. After they got a new lead, that new information may have come to light. Tonzi was very hopeful that this could have been their best lead yet. But that lead and the supposed new information ultimately led nowhere, and he found himself right back to where they were in August 1985.
I hate this.
I know. After 6 months of investigation, police became decidedly less optimistic in their prospects of catching the killer. Senior investigator Robert Fainor said in February of 1986, "We've got very, very little to go on. The physical evidence is almost nothing. We've got no fingerprints, no suspects, no identification, no leads, and no witnesses."
Damn.
By that point, investigators had traveled to 6 different states to interview potential witnesses and review similar cases even, but after doing so, they were still no closer to cracking the case.
Wow, this is brutal.
And it really isn't a lack of effort, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like they were really trying.
Right. In the months and now years that followed Kristin's death, the investigation lost steam, of course. But throughout that period, her parents, Phyllis and Michael O'Connell, kept their own investigation going of their daughter's murder in hopes of finding the killer.
Yeah.
Almost immediately upon learning of Kristin's death, they hired a private investigator, but the result of that investigator's report has not been made public. In August of 1986, a year after Kristin's murder, Phyllis and Michael actually traveled to Ovid in the hope that their presence might inspire somebody to come forward. On a visit to the crime scene, Phyllis told a reporter, "You always hope that you can see something nobody else has noticed."
Of course.
I can't imagine being, like, in that position.
They must have been so frustrated. They
Yeah.
must still be so frustrated.
And just, like, desperate
Yeah.
for anything. To the O'Connells, the lack of progress in the case was unfathomable, which obviously.
Yeah.
Michael said it might not have been a person who lives in Ovid, but someone who lives 20 or even 100 miles away, but knew the area around here. It's just very hard for us to grasp the concept of this being a random thing.
Yeah, of course.
Investigators did acknowledge that it was possible that Kristin was the victim of a serial killer, and they insisted that they were checking similar crimes reported around the country, but still, they weren't getting anything.
Jesus, really?
I know. So the following August, 1987, the O'Connells were back in Ovid on the 2nd anniversary now of Kristin's murder. And this time they were in the company of 2 psychics that they hired back home in Burnsville.
I don't blame him.
I don't either. At that 2 years of
anything.
unanswered questions, I would be going to psychics myself. Michael told a reporter, "The information..." Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. And they have supplied us with thus far has provided a couple of very strong leads, and we hope this will be resolved in a short period of time.
Oh man, the hope.
I know. The psychics agreed with Michael O'Connell's sentiment, though. One of them said, "The feelings and psychic impressions in this area are as strong as they were 2 years ago. My impression is that there are people who have substantial knowledge of this murder."
I mean,
I don't think that was
you know how I feel about psychics at crime scenes. I think that's a little, well, I could also say that.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that wasn't.
I don't know if that was
helpful.
a prediction so much as a commentary on the
just
case.
something that is common knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the psychics who came to Ovid with the O'Connells may have given them hope that their daughter's murder would be solved, but as we know, we're here today talking about it.
Yeah.
Years passed without an arrest or even a suspect. And this is awful. In 1993, tragedy struck again when Michael O'Connell died unexpectedly.
Oh, no.
At the age of 51.
Oh, super young.
Super young. He never obviously learned who was responsible for his daughter's death.
Damn.
Yeah. So now, for years, Kristin O'Connell's case was shelved as investigators shifted their attention to new and more pressing matters. But then, in early 1996, a hair sample found on Kristin's body led investigators to a man named Gary Harris.
Ooh.
He was a former Ovid resident who was 15 at the time of the murder.
Okay.
According to Seneca County District Attorney Donna Caffey, Harris was, quote, seen in the area where O'Connell was staying on the night of her murder.
Huh.
At the time of the murder, the hairs were only identifiable as belonging to a black male, but Harris came to the attention of investigators after he was arrested for an armed robbery in New York in 1996.
Okay.
Unfortunately, though, a month after announcing Harris as a suspect, the lab results came back as inconclusive on the hair sample, and investigators were forced to rule Harris out as a suspect.
Fuck.
Although nearly 15 years would pass before the O'Connell case was back in the news, the testing of the hair sample in 1996 was a strong indication that forensic evidence could very well be the thing that solved Kristin's murder.
Absolutely.
And I still believe it could be.
Oh, man.
By the time the case was back in the headlines, 25 years had passed, and in that time, like we know, scientific and technological advances had made it possible to solve cold cases with the evidence that had just been sitting on shelves for decades at that point. We've seen it happen so many times. Look at the Golden State Killer.
Yeah.
In Kristin's case, like I said, blood samples and skin fragments had been collected from her body that could lead to her killer. But as it turned out, things wouldn't be quite as easy as submitting the samples for DNA testing.
Why?
In August 2009, New York State Police had received approval of funds for up to $40,000 in order to hire a Dutch forensic lab known for their pioneering work in touch DNA.
Let's go.
And that's a type of analysis that can identify an individual from the
Tiny
smallest sample.
Yeah.
But the problem was that the New York State Health Department refused to allow investigators to contract with the Amsterdam-based company because they weren't certified in New York.
Come on.
In his statement to the press, District Attorney Richard Swinehart told reporters, "We feel this is our last best effort to solve this case. We are very frustrated with the bureaucracy of the Department of Health and that they won't take a world-leading lab where the lab people have testified in other states in our country as experts on homicide cases and won't let them at least examine the evidence while they're being certified."
Yeah, that's New York. Get it fucking together.
That's
Get it
weird.
fucking together.
That's suspicious.
That's real fucking suspicious.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That doesn't make any sense.
That's infuriating.
It doesn't make any sense. Kristin's family was equally frustrated with the state's decision to deny the testing until the lab applied for and received certification in New York. Kristin's brother Kyle O'Connor said, "They're railroading for their own purposes. There could be no other reason."
Yeah, why the fuck would you stop that?
And he said and this is a quote from him, "They're covering something up. They haven't come up with a good, viable reason why this should not be allowed."
And it's wild to me that they're like, you look shady. So if you're not covering something up, guess what?
Yeah.
You look like you're covering something up.
You look shady.
So it's like, you should probably move this forward so that you can stop everybody from thinking you did something fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because right now, I think you did something fucked up.
Well, the family was again disappointed in 2010 when they learned that a forensic scientist who had been named in an evidence falsification case possibly handled evidence in Kristin's case.
Shut
Possibly.
the fuck up.
This scientist is said to have falsified data in multiple cases and then went on to falsify records to cover up that fake data.
I am speechless.
Which,
I'm
why?
speechless. Like, why? Why?
You are fucking with people's lives.
Like, just do your job.
Phyllis said, "I mean, my God, this is an important job they're doing. And
Yeah.
how could they allow this and not be supervised properly? It's just beyond me."
Yeah.
But what I will tell you is that there's a petition we are going to share on socials and in the show notes, and it surrounds all of the DNA testing in Kristin's case, and it goes into more detail about the issues that the family has faced trying to get the DNA tested.
Okay.
And most importantly, is asking the New York State Health Commissioner to approve that lab.
Let's go, motherfucker.
I'm going to share it, and we are all going to sign the shit out of it.
Everyone annoy the shit out of them until they do this. Yes. Because, like, what are you doing?
Come on.
Like, come on. There's literal DNA. Like, what are you doing? And it's degrading the more it sits.
Exactly.
And it's like you just waiting for it to degrade?
That's exactly it. But also this specific lab, like,
they're pioneers in this.
They are, exactly. Like, they know what they're doing with this. So it's weird that you're not
allowing them to even look at it while they're getting started. And like, come on.
Not even really giving a valid reason.
No.
It's shady. And if you don't want to look shady, let them test it.
Yeah, if you don't want to look shady, then let them do it.
Despite the best efforts of the O'Connell family, though, investigators even, and several high-profile politicians, actually, it appears that the skin fragments discovered on Kristin's body still have not been submitted for DNA testing.
That's shameful as fuck.
Yeah.
That is shameful.
Many, like, even politicians have been calling on the New York State Health Department being like, just allow this, just sign off on it.
Can't let up on that.
Yeah.
Can't let up.
But now, 40 years after her daughter's death, Phyllis O'Connell worries that her daughter's case will never be solved because of this.
We can't let that happen.
And soon she worries that there will be nobody left to advocate for Kristin. Yeah. In 2023, she said, "I promised Kristin till the day I die, I will be after who killed her." And after 4 decades, her message remains the same as it did the day she learned her daughter was murdered. She said, "Don't keep secrets. Don't keep something like this going. Because maybe the next person might be your daughter, and you will know the kind of pain it is to lose a daughter, and especially through murder."
Oh, that just like destroys my soul.
Everyone go sign that petition.
Yes.
We're gonna put it in the show notes, and we'll share it on socials as well. It's a long link, so if I read it here, it'll get lost.
Yeah.
So I'll put it in socials and again on the show notes.
Yep. So it'll be right at the bottom of this episode in the show notes. You'll be able to see it and link it. There'll be a link.
Well, literally, like, you can click the link.
So you can click it. And then also, again, like Ash said, in the socials, we'll do it because
we're sharing that shit everywhere.
I want this. I want them to have to move on this.
I want them to have to move on this, and I want Phyllis at least to be able to...
I want Phyllis to see the movement on this.
And not have to live every day worrying that, like, she's gonna pass away someday without knowing what happened to her daughter.
And that this DNA is just sitting there.
Right.
That must be the most frustrating thing in the entire world.
The DNA is sitting there, and the lab is sitting there, who has the technology
to at least try to do this.
Right.
Just give it a shot. What the fuck are we doing? Stopping murders from being solved through red tape. Fuck that.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be a thing.
Fuck that.
It shouldn't be a thing. So definitely sign that petition. And also, anybody with information about this case, because somebody out there knows something. Mm-hmm. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. Somebody, any information, anybody with any information is asked to contact the New York State Police, and that number is 585-398-4125. Again, 585-398-4125.
Damn.
I want this case to be solved.
I want them to submit that DNA. I want that to at least be put into motion.
Yeah. It's gotta
Nobody's saying that it's like that 100% it's going to work, but why the fuck not try?
Why not try? Why not try? And like, hey, politicians and everybody and whoever's like red taping this, if you're listening, her dad died without knowing what happened to her. Her mom shouldn't have to die without knowing what happened to her daughter.
And what if this was your kid?
Like her mom said, what if this was your kid?
Would you want that DNA sitting on a shelf and just because of red tape and bullshit bureaucracy, it doesn't get submitted to a pioneering lab that could potentially give you the answers you need? Would you be fine with that? Because you'd be like, well, like, was that what you would do? No. Like, no, you wouldn't. If it was for you, you'd be slicing through that red tape.
Exactly.
Because it's not yours. You don't give a shit.
But put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Empathy, people.
It's so frustrating.
I know, it really is. I hope that we get news soon.
I just want this to move forward, man.
It's gotta.
Yeah.
40 years and her family has no fucking answers.
Like, come on.
Like, her parents lost a child. Her brother lost a sister.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go.
And somebody's just out there walking around.
Let's go,
Who
girls.
did it? Let's go.
Let's get this moving.
So,
come on. You guys are fucking powerful as
you
hell.
are.
So,
by the way, you are powerful. Go sign this petition, everybody.
Yeah.
Because we asked if you were able to share and donate to the Allison Botha fundraiser.
You guys
she
blew it up.
Surpassed her goal.
Yeah, you blew it up.
You blew it up.
You're
Thank you.
powerful as fuck.
We can get this shit to happen.
You get shit moving and you get shit done. And
we've
seen you do it before.
One thing about morbid listeners, they get shit done.
So we know you guys can do this.
Let's
You're badass
this.
motherfuckers. And you give a shit. So do it.
Exactly. And with that being said, we hope that you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it
weird. Keep it so weird that you sign the shit out of this petition and you get everyone in your goddamn life to sign that shit too.
Let's go.
Sign it.
Bye.
You wouldn't take financial advice from a 72 hours in a single day alpha influencer, would you? Same goes if you're in a car accident or any accident. Who you choose matters. That's why Morgan & Morgan exists. They're the largest injury law firm in America, and they've built a reputation by actually winning cases, not just talking about it. Over 1,000 lawyers across all 50 states and $30 billion recovered. Injured? Go to forthepeople.com/podcast. That's forthepeople.com/podcast.
In the U.S., there's a break-in every 26 seconds. But when intruders step near, Simply Safe Home Security steps up.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Using AI alerts, U.S.-based live agents help deter break-ins. Simply Safe, no long-term contracts. Save 50% on your new system with professional monitoring at simplysafe.com/SXM or with promo code SXM.
Outdoor deterrence requires a Simply Safe Active Guard outdoor protection plan starting at $49.99 a month. Visit simplysafe.com/licenses for alarm license information. Tennessee 2012.